But okay, so more or less going through, important things to note is there is an updated version of problem set 4. This has boxes on the problem set. I encourage you to go and use those boxes to write your letters in. This will greatly help us to grade in Gradescope and make everything easier. If you're writing on a blank sheet of paper, we also have some adjustments or some recommendations for how to do this that I think will make things easier for exams. We've gone through, we have a new plan for exams where we're still going to have both of the exams. Since we have less time to do it, we're going to just essentially remove some of the content from topic 6 and quite a bit of the content from topic 7 and go forward that way. Because of this, another note is on problem set 4, you do not know how to answer question 6, you can just write A in the box. I will get to that. It's on the sheet, the timing and stuff. So the exams will be 40. It says someone asked if exams will be shorter. So essentially, if you account for transitions and all this stuff, I wanted people seem to be taking 15, maybe even 20 minutes just to process the documents. So to remain within our sort of allotted class time, I am making the exams to be 45 minutes long instead of 50. And again, since there is less material, there's fewer different possibilities. So a similar length exam on the similar amount of content will probably just mean that the practice questions will be even more similar to the real ones or something like this. Again, I have to go still make all of these exams with these adjustments in place. So I will keep you posted. These are now reflected on the updated syllabus and course calendar. So the course calendar now shows when the dates and times are. I did post a practice for exam, and I adjusted some of the questions so that material we don't get to in topic 6 is removed. I added in reaction summaries and synthesis strategies for topics 5 and 6. Some of this material will be, so someone asked if the problem set 4 questions are the same. They have the exact same questions. I only have a sheet of paper that now has boxes next to the multiple choice so that everyone will be writing a letter in the same place. This way, whenever you upload the document to Gradescope, it'll automatically recognize all the different letters and it'll help us sort of sort and bin on the back end. This means we can get the grades back to you faster. And because if we had to do this all electronically, manually, we may not be able to promise to get it back before the next class. So the reaction summaries, I'll go to that real quick. More or less looks like this. This is found in the exam 4 folder. Since I didn't know whether to put it in the topic 5 or 6 handouts, I just put it in the exam 4 folder. So this has a completed guide of the sort of map we had at the very beginning of the notes. We'll learn a bit more about some of these reactions of amines. We'll discuss it on Monday, and I'll upload a video soon. So these are all different ways you make primary amines. We'll learn a new type of reaction soon called reductive amination that will help us make some of these secondary and tertiary amines. This was the existing organometal reactions. We learned a few more organometal reactions with anhydrides and acid chlorides. Actually, anhydrides will be mentioned briefly at the beginning of the next lecture too, just to cover our bases somewhat. Since there's overlap with the earlier aldehydes and ketones section, I just added it on to the existing grid, and the new material it will be in yellow. And then reduction reactions, we have 2 new reducing agents, one that we'll learn about next class, and new types of molecules that can be reduced. So this should be a good reference. There are some reaction combinations that have asterisks. Just technically I filled them in just to know, and actually 2 of them, I'm not even sure. I've never seen these combinations of reagents before, so it's hard to say, but you don't need to worry about those. But hopefully this is a useful guide. Barring any technical difficulties, lecture 26 should be recorded and posted. And I made some slight changes to the Gradescope upload file. So there's a little tutorial on where and how to use Gradescope that I can show you in a minute if you have questions there. So more specifics on the exams. Again, they'll be separately. These are the dates, April 6th and April 17th. So we're trying to get two in a fairly short period of time, but the material accordingly is reduced. So the exams will be released on Canvas. So I can set when files will be released and taken down for your viewing at different times. So I set things to be like 11:15. I was playing around with this last night, and right now I actually had a couple of files in the exam4 folder that should appear on your end right now. If someone wants to go and look, there should be two files there that now you should be able to see. One is a PS4 example and one's called test document. These are not relevant other than for me testing, making sure that these do appear on the student end. Was anyone notified that they appeared? So I know sometimes when I upload a document, you'll get a notification. I'm not sure if you get notified when these are there, but essentially, whenever it's time to start the exam at 11:15, you should be able to go to the exam4 folder and the file will be there. And the idea is that you would have 45 minutes to complete the exam along with 20 minutes of processing either way. I put this in a few different emails and notes, but if you are in an out of the ordinary time zone, please email me if you want some things to be accounted for. Cool. Okay, so you guys were notified that things were popping up. Were you notified right now for two different documents? Or were you notified last night when I was changing things around? Oh yeah, because I was doing some different adjustments last night. I'm not sure if the ones that I have set as a sort of because whenever I upload them initially, they're hidden from you, and then I adjust the settings, so you may not get a notification, but they should appear. And people are seeing extra documents in that exam4 folder if anyone's looking. Yes, I see them. Cool. They will disappear eventually. You don't need them right now. They're just to make sure that people can see them and that function works. So that's great. Canvas has functioning release of documents. So we should be able to rely on that. If you were previously in the exam center taking exams, it would be the normal time that you would be allotted plus 20 minutes for processing. I think I'll keep this as sort of a standard. And I realize that whether you are relying on a printer versus writing on a tablet versus writing on a sheet of paper, all of these things, someone waiting to print, that might be viewed as extra time. So I am uploading what I'm going to say are sort of like skeleton exams beforehand, or sort of template exams that you'd be able to print beforehand and then write into it. And at the same time, if you're just writing on a sheet of paper, you could go and see where answers would need to be to sort of prepare to hopefully equalize all the students in terms of advantages or disadvantages if, say, you're writing on a tablet and you're able to start sooner. This is one of the files that I uploaded. This is how to complete problem sets and exams using Gradescope. I think this has a lot of the information you need. This is in the file or handouts folder. So if you have a printer, you could just wait for the exam to appear. You could print it out. Or I'll show you this exam template soon. That'll kind of show you what it would look like. It's just a skeleton of the exam with like boxes of where to answer things. And I suppose you would view it on your computer and then write in the answers into these boxes. The template, this is just to try to help people write things in the right place so that when it gets uploaded to Gradescope, it can be graded the most efficiently and effectively. And there's additional information on how to use either Genius Scan. Scannable is also apparently an app that works well. I bet there's a number of ways that you can do this. Essentially, you just need to create a PDF file or an image file that has each page with the answers in the right places, and I think Gradescope will accept it. If you want to try some sort of method and you want to test out how something gets uploaded, feel free to try something different and send me an email, and I can check it on Gradescope to see how it looks and if it's all going to work out. If you're using a tablet, similarly, you can just upload the assignment to the tablet, export it with answers, and you can, whether it's sending yourself by email or Dropbox or however, you can get it up to Gradescope. Writing with a blank sheet of paper might be, in some ways, it's convenient because you can just write. But if at all possible, trying to get answers in the right locations becomes a bit more challenging. Again, we're not going to take off if you don't get something exactly in the right place. Wait, what notification? Are you referring to the file upload notifications? Okay, yeah, I was generally asking the class if you were notified that these files were released. Um, so at the start of class, one file was released, and then at 11:30, another one appeared in the exam 4 folder. And I was asking if you guys had recently received a notification that these appeared. And most people said that they were notified last night when I was actually just uploading some different files. And I know that sometimes the notifications aren't immediate. There's like a time delay. So the notification would have been for a file that is called like PS4-2312-spring something, something, something. And the other one was just called test document. So I don't know if these are things you saw or not. Yeah, that's all the file upload notifications is on the user end. So I don't I can't control that. And when I was looking through the options, I think I wasn't sure sort of this gray area of whether they consider that to be a new file upload, since it's a file that sort of appears and then disappears at a set time. But either way, I would say I will have them in the right place at the right times for you to be able to go and view them, and everything should be a-okay. All right, so going back to the writing on a blank sheet of paper. So in principle, I can show you how these things work. This is what I made sort of a template for problem set 4. This wouldn't probably be useful, but if in case I would be making this for something like exam 4, and then I would upload it ahead of time. That way, if someone wanted to save some time printing and print this out, they could just write answers, A, B, C, etc. And I think that would make it a bit more efficient. I know some people, I think, said they had a less than reliable printer and it was taking a while for it to go, or if you're worried about a jam or one of these other things eating into your exam time, that this could be something to help you out. And if you're writing on a sheet of paper, you could also go and look and see what the sort of format is so that you can kind of at least number your paper to know where you'll be writing pages in. If you get generally in the right area, Gradescope will pick up the answer, so you don't need to be perfect. And we still won't be penalizing for this. But if you're able to go and put answers, like for instance, on this question, if you just knew 14 had 2 parts, you know it's going to be 2 synthesis problems, you could draw a line and a half and then have sort of 2 different answers if you're just using a piece of paper. And if you're just writing on a blank sheet of paper, something like this, where you're going to have your name and user ID. If you wanted to, you could write, page 1, 2, 3 in the corner just so that we could make sure we have the right order, or you keep track of the right order. And then potentially writing boxes with letters in it. So these are boxes that I just kind of looked at on a sheet of paper and eyeballed it. So I didn't do any measuring. I just kind of looked at the problem set 4 and put boxes where they should be. So these types of things should be helpful, I think. Can you upload skeleton exam as a Word doc? Um, that becomes actually a little bit more challenging because of how I can edit it on PDF. I can try, but it because whenever I delete the different images and all the stuff on the exam in Word, it'll reformat the spacing of all the other things. Then I'll have to try to hit, I guess I could try to hit enter or something. Um, well, if you have an iPad, oh, you want me to upload the exam? Oh, the actual exam. Yeah, I can upload the actual exam as a Word document. Yes, I can totally do that. I thought you meant the sort of template version. Template one gets more difficult. Oh no, you wanted the skeleton exam as a Word document. I have to copy to Word, then write on it. Oh, you can't draw directly onto a PDF. Okay, yeah. So I'm using something called Notability. It may cost like $3 or $4 though. I'll see what I can definitely upload the real exam as a PDF or as a um, Word document. That is easy. If you're on an iPad, then I would imagine the actual exam would be more useful to you than the skeleton version. No. Anyways, I will try to do this. I will try to find a way to make it work. Yeah, and if people have solutions, I can just add these things onto the sort of exam document as well. Yeah. Mainly, right. That's why right now I'm just trying to go and figure out what is the most efficient for you, and I will try to make it happen on my end. Um, and I can upload more instructions on how to do that. So there are some instructions for how to upload things onto Gradescope. This is a PDF I found. It's pretty clear. It kind of shows how to do it with two different devices. GeniusScan works on iOS or iPhones as well, and that's what I've used, and it seems to work well. Most people who are using this to submit their answers onto Gradescope at all work pretty well. And this is some information on how to actually upload it onto Gradescope if that isn't intuitive. Cool. Um, so this is the sort of main file that I uploaded in the files or handouts section. It's called General Updates for Online 2312. I think this goes through most of the different elements of our pre-recorded lectures I'll be posting to YouTube. I'll try to find, I need to play around with some more settings so that either you could continually go to the same YouTube link to look for updates. I will also continue to put lectures, the links to lectures onto the handouts folder after I upload them. So that means there will be a bit of time in between for, oh no. I guess it just depends on how long it takes for me to process the videos and all of that stuff to get things up, but that's before you guys see them. Lecture 26, I plan to have done soon, later this evening. During class sessions, these will still be used more for Q&A about the lecture material. If you don't want to do that and you want to use the class time just to watch the videos, you could do this too. I recommend trying to post questions if you have them about the lectures to Piazza beforehand. Then I can kind of copy paste the questions onto my iPad and kind of go through them during class. That way you can see the question and also have an answer to it as well. And if you have questions on the chat, you can use that too, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. And then the video recordings of the lectures will also be posted afterwards. I will probably modify the handout that I initially posted that it actually has two links, one to the YouTube video and then the second one to the class corresponding to it. And I'll post this video up as well, just to make sure. It worked earlier with a practice one, so I think this should have no problem. This is the link that you want to use to get to this event. This is the event ID. If you're using something like an iPad, I have to type in this event ID. It always saves this, so I type it in once and it's always there, unless you end up going to several different events. But this ID and link should not change for the remainder of the semester. And also, yes, you are all presenters, but last time it looked like having people as attendees created a more dramatic lag period, which I think will end up being more painful than trying to come in as an attendee. We do have 3 attendees in today, so maybe that works. Maybe it'll be great. I'll still have both of them available. I can actually give you, I can put in a separate link as an attendee as well if there's a preference for one versus the other. But I know that some people, it might be a bit risky because some people may have more of a 30-second delay on the video. I'll still have office hours Monday, Tuesday from 5 to 6 p.m. Since there's always going to be under 150 people, I'm doing this just through meetings. Depending on how many people end up communicating that they are, 10 plus time zones away, that makes it difficult for them to be able to probably ask questions live and review things as easily. So I may move it. As of now, they'll stay the same, and I'll let you know if it changes. So I mentioned this earlier. The content has now been condensed a bit. It's a little, we have less material to go over than we initially planned. And because of how we are going to reduce the amount of topic 6 material, there will be technically a video lecture uploaded before exam 4 that will be on topic 7 material, but that will not be included on the exam. More or less, we just need to actually have more lectures to have enough to kind of even attempt to take an exam 5. So there'll be some material lectured on and that sort of stuff. I already have the abbreviated topic 6 handouts. I'll be getting topic 7 handouts up soon. And yeah, the course calendar syllabus, those have all been updated. I mainly went through this earlier on. This is sort of more information on problem set and exam submission. I think most of this I just went over a second ago, so I think this is a bit redundant. But yeah, we're gonna try this out. I think or at least I hope this format for writing the exams, either having a sort of skeleton example or a real one, will work. As we get more of the problem sets in, people can have a bit more practice getting some of those things done too. Are there any other questions right now that people have? There are no questions. That's great. Oh, you also have an exam 4 topic guide. I thought this might be useful too with some things changing. This is also in the exam 4 folder. I just made a list of the different sort of topics that will be on the exam or will be covered. So there's a bit more clarity on what is and is not there. I think on the or in the email, I mentioned some of the things that explicitly would not be there anymore. But yeah, it's all going to be great. Oh, the practice at this point, the practice submission is mainly just for you. We just needed people to try to write an answer somewhere so that whenever we took the problem sets and input them to Gradescope, making sure that um, your solutions appeared in the right places and it was able to read them. More or less, this was for me and the TAs to figuring out how to grade things and making sure things would work according to plan. I think we have most of the information now. If you want to go ahead and do a practice submission, we can still continue to look at them. And I mainly wanted you guys to have a practice submission to see if there are any challenges that were going to come up that we need to be made aware of so that we could try to accommodate or change something to be a bit more useful on either your end or our end. But I mean, some people just uploaded blank sheets of paper, which wasn't terribly useful, but writing A in all of the multiple choice, or if you're just writing on a blank sheet of paper, trying to write A in the correct places, just figuring out maybe a strategy for how you can get some of the spacing right would be useful. Okay, yeah. So I updated this a while ago. I think I sent an email out maybe last week, and it hasn't changed since then, or maybe it was last weekend. I don't know. These days blur together a bit. Um, yeah, so you could have already printed this out and you could have uploaded it. There were a few people that uploaded the practice submission and it wasn't in the most updated file format. That's why I was just letting you know if you could at least transcribe the multiple choice over just that single page, it would save a lot of time for us trying to figure out what your answer was for that. Yeah, Gradescope takes the file and it looks for answers in a certain location and it'll automatically recognize if it's like A, B, C, D, or E. So going through and just verifying what it thinks is an A is very fast. Whereas if we have to go look and now scroll over to the other side of the page, see what it is, and then manually add it into one of the grading bins, it's quite a bit longer. So do people have any other questions right now? Awesome. Sounds good. Well, if there's nothing left, that's, I think, all the stuff we need. I have a number of other meetings this afternoon, and after that, I'll finish recording and uploading lecture 26. Feel free to email me with any concerns or questions regarding the exam formats, grade scope submissions, etc. And otherwise, I will see you all on Monday at 11:15. Cool. Adios.